Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we're continuing our study of the suffering servant passage, and we're in Isaiah 51, and we're going to be looking at verses 12 through 16 today. Last time we were together, the prophet basically, um, puts out the call for Batman. He's calling for the Lord to come and save the people from to deliver them from their captivity. And the Lord responds today in verses 12 through 16. And the prophet referred to two um, events in the past. One was creation. And the prophet spoke in terms of the Babylonian creation account. In the Babylonian creation account, at the beginning, there was the chaos of the waters represented in the deity Tiamat, which was a monster of some sort, and uses two names. Basically, my translation says the dragon, but it's the monster, or Rahab, which is another name for Tiamat, for the monster that represents water and chaos. And in their creation account, Marduk, the god, um, tamed and defeated, and then brought order and land to creation. It really is kind of um, a disfiguring of the truth, really, down the years, a misremembering. Anytime people are not careful to preserve what is true. Anybody who's ever played a game of telephone, you know how quickly one message becomes something else, and they kept some knowledge, I guess, of creation, of a single God bringing order, of there being an abyss, of there being water, and then dry land appearing, I guess. But anyway, but they have changed it. So the prophet is saying, you're the one who brought order out of chaos. You're the one who brought dry land out of the abyss, out of the water, and you're the one who split the waters and allowed us to escape our Egyptian enslavement when you parted the Red Sea. So I like verses 12 through 16 because God immediately responds and he clarifies. I mean, he doesn't refer back to the Marduk Tiamat story at all. He says that's not the way. The story is really this, and so he says, yes, I'm coming to save you, like I promised. In verses 12 through 16, verses 12 and 13 are in verse, and verses 14 through 16 are in prose. In fact, for the next couple of chapters, we're going to have a lot of verse, but they're going to be short sections that are in prose. I don't know why. But anyway, let's read verses 12 through 16. And this is God speaking. I, even I, am he who comforts you. Who are you that are afraid of man who dies, and of the Son of Man who is made like grass, that you have forgotten Yahweh your Maker? Who stretched out the heavens, who laid the foundation of the earth, that you fear continually all day long because of the fury of the oppressor, as he makes ready to destroy. But where is the fury of the oppressor? The exile will soon be set free, and will not die in the dungeon, nor will his bread be lacking. For I am Yahweh your God, who stirs up the sea and its waves. Roar, the Lord of hosts is his name, Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh of armies is his name. And I have put my word in your mouth, and have covered you with the shadow of my hand, to establish the heavens, the foundation of the earth, and to say, Zion, you are my people. I just love this because God not only says, yes, I'm coming to save you, but he says, yes, I am he. I am the one, and you are particularly mine. Um, and don't forget, don't be afraid of any human being. I'm God. I created everything. You don't have to be afraid of any human being. Son of Man, I know, is a phrase that applies to Jesus most often in the New Testament when it is used, but it just means a human. That's why it's important that Jesus is described as Son of God, Son of Man, divine and human. In this passage, don't be afraid of a man or a son of man. Don't be afraid of any human being. They're like grass. Don't forget who I am and that I am particularly yours. So I love that. The exile will be set free. He will not be left in the dungeon, and his bread will not fail. You're not going there to be in the dungeon anyway. You're going there for me to prosper you while you are there. And don't worry about the fury of the oppressor. I'm the creator of everything. But the thing that I really like about this passage is the way that God repeats basically the truths of Genesis 1. These people who have been in Babylon, perhaps so long that they're starting to conflate Babylonian stories with biblical stories. God says, no, there was no sea monster that was defeated. I'm the one who stretched out the universe. I'm the one who made the dry land appear. And the oceans, the waters, I made the waters. I stir up the waters. I control the waters. I didn't have to fight the waters to do anything. I just love that immediately after they call for God, God not only says, yes, I'm coming, and why are you even afraid? Why are you panicking? But he also clarifies their description of him as creator in verses 12 through 16. I just love that. And I want us to notice that it ends with something like a marriage covenant or an adoption covenant. You are my people. You are my people. I will say to Zion, you are my people. It is a reaffirmation of the covenant he has with them. Okay, so as we close the verse, we have the prophet calling out not to God, but to God's people, to Jerusalem, to say, get ready to return. Wake up and get ready to return, because the day of your salvation has come. We'll read verses 17 through 23 next time. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.